Hi, everybody, welcome back. Now, look, I don't often get mad listening to some of the crime stories. I mean, true crime stories. I'm fairly analytical, and usually I am somehow able to look at cases fairly calmly. I may get very sad for the victims, and sometimes I have a little pang of sadness verging on short lived bout of depression, particularly when a case involves young people or children. But usually I'm too busy trying to solve the crime to be too sad, too depressed, or too angry for too long. I have just lost my shit, however, with the Kohberger case. The true crime genre is, of course, full of real lawyers, real pathologists, psychologists, but God alone knows. Sometimes I can't help but to think that the more educated some people are, the more stupid or sometimes a little insane some people are. Okay, it is not my style to criticize other channels, but I'm sorry to say, but if a creator tells her subscribers to fuck off just because they pointed something out they don't agree with, then she does not deserve those subscribers.
Things like, yeah, psychology. I occasionally do psychology videos. Oh, shoot me. If you're saying that somebody who committed a quadruple murder should be granted my sympathy and my empathy and my compassion, quite frankly, F you. I am not here for that. I am here for the victims. I wonder if you treated your clients in this matter. Well,
And then it makes me angry and it forces me to take sides where I would not have done so before. However, now it's all done, so I will. When it comes to the Kohberger case, I recommend you watch only Harsh Reality and Jewels of All Trades and the news channels or go read the newspapers. Would I ever have done this in any other case? No, empathetically, no. But the last time I got this passionate and angry was with the Barry Morphew trial. And look where that ended. The only person whose opinion was even close to mine was that of Scott Reich of Crime Talk. We both predicted Barry Morphew was going to walk. And why? Not because we liked or admired Barry Morphew, like some of the viewers accused me in particular. I mean, gosh, no. I live in another country. Barry Morphew is not even my type, and I'll likely never run into him ever. The only reason why Scott and I said Barry was going to walk is because the prosecution did not have enough circumstantial evidence and almost no hard evidence against Barry. Anyway, I was called stupid and ridiculous and in love with Barry on almost every comment I made on other channels. And lo and behold, I was right. Barry Morphew walked, and I'll never ever forget the glee on Scott Rice's face when he announced that Barry Morphew was let go. Anyway, now look, maybe one day there will be evidence and Barry Morphew will be charged again. Or maybe one day it will be discovered that Suzanne Morphew left with the wrong guy for the day. Or maybe she just left. Remember, she did tell a friend that she felt like starting over somewhere else. And who knows, maybe she did. But you see, that is the point. No one knows, and there is no proof either way. Unfortunately, the Kohberger case seemed to be going the same way. I agree that it is very possible that the prosecution has more evidence than we know of. Actually, not only possible, but most likely. Well, at least I hope so. Because if they don't, then this case is Barry Morphew 2.0. And no, I'm not a lawyer. And no, I do not have a master's or doctorate in psychology. But I could be in the future or could have been a member of a jury. And if I was, and knowing what I know now, I can tell you that I would not have found enough circumstantial or hard evidence to prove to me that Brian Kohberger is guilty. So let's talk DNA. As far as I know, the touch DNA on the sheet is the only DNA prosecution have. And the gossip, remember I'm saying gossip because we don't really know what they have. But the gossip is that there was no DNA evidence in Brian's car, no DNA evidence in his apartment, his office, or his parents' home. When I talk DNA evidence in the murder house, we are talking about Brian's DNA. Now imagine this guy going into that house, killing 4 people with a knife, of whom at least 2 of those 4 people fought back before finally succumbing to their injuries. Everyone who has ever watched a true crime video, anyone who has ever read a crime novel, watch NCIS, Law and Order, or anything crime related, will know that DNA can be found in shed skin cells, a hair, a drop of spittle, a minute drop of blood, semen, and of course, lately we have touch DNA. So I'm not going to believe you if you come to me and told me that Brian did what he did, but left no, and I mean no, not a single piece of DNA behind, but the touch DNA on the sheet. In this struggle, he did not shed a single skin cell, did not lose a single hair, although on average a person naturally lose about 100 hairs per day. So, regardless of losing 100 hairs per day, Brian Kohberger did not lose a single one, whether from his head, his arms, or his legs. We know the police covertly checked his arms and face for scratches nearly a month and a half later. But why check for scratches at all? Because law enforcement, for some reason, suspected that he was scratched or hurt. At least that is my guess. Well, if he was scratched, then there should be DNA of his elsewhere in that murder home. Okay, now if we talk about Brian's car and his apartment, his office, his parents' home, we are not talking about Brian's DNA. No, 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 because his DNA will be there in any event. But we are talking of that belonging to the victims. Explain to me, how could or did he manage to do what he did in the way that he did, but did not get a single drop of blood on himself, his clothing, or his shoes? Oh, but then the wise come and tell us that it is possible that he was wearing a PPI suit, or then a hazmat type of suit. Yes, of course it is entirely possible. But then please explain this. We are already baffled as to how he managed to destroy four healthy adults in something like 8 minutes. Now, please explain how he would have managed to put a suit on and take it off before and after, and to do that and everything else that he did in 8 to 13 minutes. Let me illustrate. Okay, so he drives up the road, is caught on a camera. He continues driving for another, say, 100 meters. He makes a U turn, drives back a couple of 100 meters, turns into the dead end road, parks, gets out, puts on his hazmat suit, walks down to the house, sneaks into the house, does what he did 4 times, leaves the house, walks back to his vehicle, and somewhere along the way back to his vehicle, he gets out of this hazmat suit and disposes of it, which also means that this particular suit was not found anywhere near the house that we know of. Then he gets in his car, and by 4:20, the vehicle is spotted at the bottom of the incline driving away. All of that between 4:04 and 4:20. But let me break it down a little more. Sana was still on her phone at 4:12, and at 4:17 there was a commotion, and if you listen carefully, it does sound like someone yelled, Sana. Okay? So, if the clever people's hypothesis is right, then Brian killed Zana and Ethan at 4:17 a.m., cleaned himself up, or took his hazmat suit off, walked back to his car, and by 4:20 was already at the bottom street driving away. 3 whole minutes to kill 2 people by stabbing, walking to the vehicle, taking a hazmat suit off, starting the vehicle, driving about 100 to 150 meters. Yeah, I don't know. It sounds doable, but I guarantee you it is not. Not in 3 minutes. Okay, now the educated say, what if he wore the suit to the car? What if he took it off but took it with him? Well, then he would have taken DNA from the victims with him into the vehicle. Yes, he could have disposed of it while driving around after the fact. Yes, it is possible. Anything is possible, but it is not evidence. What is possible does not prove a case. What is possible does not win a case. Only undisputable evidence wins a case. Then some learned people accuse us of having more empathy with Brian Kohberger than with the victims because we are considering or talking about the outstanding unanswered questions. No, that is not true. And no, I certainly don't. And no, harsh reality doesn't, and nor does Jules or a number of others. No, if it is or can be proven that Brian Kohberger is the killer, then he should fry. Absolutely. Why should the taxpayers' money support him in prison for the rest of his life? Because we all know in any event that the D penalty is not really the D penalty anymore. But what if Brian Kohberger is not guilty? What if it was not him? How will it be justice for Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Sana if the wrong man is sentenced for the crimes? In my opinion, it would not be. Okay, then let's not forget that a learned YouTuber or two get ridiculous when you dare, I mean, dare talk about the sheath not being true evidence. I mean, because it is not. No, it's not. Again, we are accused of saying that the knife sheath was planted. No, who said that? What we did, however, say was that touch DNA on the sheath could have gotten there some other way. What if someone showed Brian Kohberger the knife a day before or a week before? What if it was even his, but he had brought it with him during a previous visit or even brought it to a party? I don't care whether they spliced or diced that touch DNA. If there is no other DNA of Brian Kohberger in that house, I am quite confident in saying that if I was a juror, I would likely have let him go. So maybe the prosecution and law enforcement have lots more evidence. We don't know. We will have to wait and see. But at this point, no one knows except the legal teams and the judge. So to treat people joining in the discussion like dirt is just utterly disgusting and uncalled for. Okay, guys and girls, that's all I have to say on this case today. So I will be back sometime during the week with some other cases. So until then, please take good care of yourselves and each other. Bye.